I wish people were even just slightly scared of me. That would be, I don't intimidate anyone, but any type of just respect, a modicum of respect,
just a pinch of
would
respect.
be helpful.
Have you ever had a question you wanted to ask the opposite race, but you were too nervous to ask?
I'm Turner Sparks.
And I'm Phil Duckett.
And this is Black and White Advice.
Where we answer all your questions about race, even the scary ones.
This is Black and White Advice.
You've got a question, but you're scared to ask. Just drop the boys a message, cause they're up to the task. They're rolling the dice, they ain't always nice, but you can't think twice and giving black and white advice. Black and white advice.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Turner Sparks.
Phil Duckett, real deal.
We got Joe, the Muscle Russell, behind the glass on the ones and twos. How you doing back there, Joe?
Good.
He's got a microphone. He's
We
gotten
got-
creepier without the camera. Now it's just his voice. Like,
Yeah,
hello.
it's just like a floating ghost.
Yeah.
We got a lot coming at you guys. We're gonna answer your black and white advice questions. We got Joe Russell doing the White Lies and Dark Truths, our fact check segment at the very end of the show. But right now it's just us. Oh no, but right now it's Patreon. That's what I wanted to get to. You guys, we're incredibly close to hitting our first goal, $250. We're gonna put Phil Duckett in a mosh pit at a punk rock concert in New York City.
With the rest of the Sharpies with X's on me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Should I be looking up? We said last week we would do it, right? Or we said last time we talked about this that we would do it. So should we just look up some punk shows you might want to go to?
Sure. Just read me off a couple of the names.
All right, let me Google real quick.
You know, who's playing the matinee?
The matinee. I don't think they have matinees. You ever heard of Fishbone?
Turner, just start. Don't ask me anymore, though. Have I heard of none? I've heard of none. I've heard of none of them. You've heard of Fishbone?
Fishbone's great. Fishbone, by the way, has a black lead singer.
We're there.
Where you want to go to that
I'm
one?
going to support the brother.
All right, we can go see Fishbone. They're playing Saturday, March 22nd.
Saturday, March 22nd.
Yeah, we got a show in March. We got Nerf Herder, one of my favorite bands, coming with Diesel Boy and Hell Beach opening the show. That's more like nerd punk. It's going to be a lighter mosh pit. That's Sunday, April 13th.
Nerd punk.
Fishbone is ska influence. They I don't know. They used to have horns. They might still.
They used to have horns?
Like horn players.
Oh, okay.
Like a trumpet, trombone.
Gotcha. I was like, what?
So there's like that roots element of it, you know. And then you're getting punk. You're getting like a little bit of funk in there too. I think Fishbone might be the one.
Fishbone might be the one.
All right, they're like everybody loves Fishbone.
Fishbone.
If you've heard of Red Hot Chili Peppers' biggest influence is Fishbone. Fishbone was an LA band in the 80s that Red Hot Chili Peppers basically ripped off.
And then they became superstars.
And they became super famous off
And then
of them.
Fishbone was like, we're still
Fishbone's still playing the Brooklyn Monarch.
Okay.
Coming up on March 22nd.
Okay.
All right, those are a good one. This one's called Boston Marathon. That's probably not going to be.
That is a wild name.
That's a tough band name.
That is a tough Boston Marathon. Is crazy.
That's a tough band name.
Okay, punk is different.
Here's one called Blame God.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
And they're by the way, they're opening for a band called Kidnapped, another band called Livid, and another band called Groin. I've never heard of any of these bands.
This sounds like the show.
This might be the show.
That sounds like the show.
Kidnapped, Livid, Groin, and Blame God.
Is that a big one or a small one?
That's small. I've never heard of those bands.
That's going to get wild, I think.
That's going to be... Oh, here's one that has 2 X's. I was telling you about the X on the hands.
Oh.
Means it's they're straight edge and they don't drink alcohol. And if you do drink alcohol, they try to fight you.
I'm going to go in there with a handle of liquor. Just
there you go.
I'm like, well, who's going to stop me?
Go get blasted
who's
at the
gonna stop
straight
me?
edge concert. And then you got... Okay, here we got the Dopamines. And they're open for them is Shell Shag and Fat Heaven.
I'm gonna let you make the pick on these because I'm like, I have no idea. Fishbone sounds good, but if you want to do Dirty Groins and
I'll look all these up, and there's all these different days. It's New York City, so this is like the home. Punk rock in America is either from LA, like most things, LA or New York, right?
Gotcha.
And but New York City is like the hard. LA Fishbone's from LA, but they're really good. They tour everywhere. New York has like the real down and dirty The mosh pits are more insane in New York City, so you've come to the right place.
Is there any chance they'll let me stage dive?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes.
I've always wanted to do that.
We're going to Fishbone.
I've always wanted to
We're going to
stage
Fishbone.
But
You can stage-
I've always been afraid I jump and turn and they just clear out. That's like my biggest fear.
Well, I've stage dive a bunch.
Really?
The only issue is it has to be a big enough crowd. A lot of these are going to be like, to go see, what do they call, what was the one I was just looking up? The, Fat God or whatever. That's going to be like 12 people in a bar watching this show. Fishbone's going to be probably like 500 people.
That's where I need because I want to jump in.
And they may be even more. So we'll jump up
But
on
I
stage.
feel like I'm nervous. Like people like try to grab your nuts and like punch in the dick while you're.
Honestly, they used to. Yeah, before Me Too era. And also women would get, like, they try to grab boobs and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, nowadays, no. And not only no. If anyone tries that, the crowd, like, beats them up.
Really?
People will see it, and then, I'm telling you, this is, like...
They used to, like, rip women's
Dude,
shirts
go
off?
look up old videos of, like, Warped Tour in the 90s.
Yeah.
And you'll see somebody crowd surfing, and then at, like, a woman crowd surf, and then as she's getting passed around, you'll just see, like, groping going
Passed
on.
around is crazy.
You know, like,
yeah, I get it, but it all sounds like a song. As they passed her around, they groped her. I'm like, oh.
Woodstock 99.
I saw
Remember
that video.
That was,
documentary.
like, widespread.
That was different. That was crazy. They didn't have any laws out there, though. I mean, it was...
Not only did they not have any laws, I was watching, there's a documentary about it.
I saw it.
And about how, like, just everyone got, can you say it on YouTube? Everyone got R'd
Yeah.
when they were there.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this. I'm on an airplane. I'm watching the documentary. And then they're interviewing people who were at the show. This documentary is from like a year ago. And then guess who pops up? Who was at the show? Jessica Levin.
She was in the Woodstock.
This comedian Jessica Levin, who's hilarious. And she goes, yeah, I was there. I was hanging out. And fucking hammered. And they're like,
Yeah, I fucking saw it.
Yeah.
Fucking pussies.
yeah, exactly. they're like, what did you think? Everyone was getting, molested. She goes, no one molested me. I could have used. Must be nice to get molested at a Warped or Woodstock 99. I swear to God, I'm on an airplane. I take a picture. I pause it. I tell everyone around me, I'm like, I know this girl. I take a picture of it. I send it to her immediately. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was out.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could get it anywhere. I'm like, you can watch it on Delta flights.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Nobody molested me. The crazy part is I can hear that being said. Fucking bunch of pussies.
She's like, I was hanging out in the porta potty the whole time. Nobody came in. I was waiting, unlocked.
Left the door.
It was on green the whole time. The porta potty was on green.
That is so fucking
Must be
insane.
nice,
Must be
ladies.
nice, lady. God, that's so funny.
Woodstock 99.
I think if you know her, it makes it even funnier because it's just like so on point.
It's
It
what
is
she-
so-
yeah,
it
it's
is
the
so on
whole-
point.
She could be a guest soon.
We gotta have
Gotta
her.
have her.
Yeah,
I actually thought about having her on. I was thinking about like having her on this week, and Ye was like, I hope she won't mind me saying this. Ye was like, I don't know, it's gonna be real loud in there with her and Phil and you. She's like, you're the three loudest people I know, all in a room,
Yeah,
just screaming.
there's not a lie told. I'm very boisterous.
We'll get her on.
Yeah.
She's got to be on soon.
That's funny. As shit.
Anyway, all right. So I think we're gonna do. We'll map it out. We got to hit that 250 number first. But once we do it, I think Fishbone's the move, and then we put it out. We get you stage diving.
250 first, then I'm stage diving at Fishbone. I can't wait to get that on camera. That's like a bucket list thing for me. And I was like, I'll never be a rock star, so I don't see any chance I would ever get to do that. And
Dude,
now I'm like,
it's the most fun thing ever.
Yeah.
Joe, have you ever stage dived?
No.
Really?
No, I'm afraid they won't catch me.
They always catch.
that-
always catch.
except on TV, because that's all I
Except
see.
that they never catch on
They
TV.
just run and jump, and I'm like, oh no.
They never catch on TV. The only TV I remember them catching on is Clueless, when the Mighty Mighty Bosstones played at the high school dance. And then the guy stage dived.
In a high school dance is absurd. That's the time they would move.
They would 100% move.
Yeah.
And there's only like 8 people on the dance floor, and they all run over and catch them real quick.
It's just sweet.
But a punk show, when it's packed, they have no choice but to catch you. You're literally jumping into human beings. So either they put their arms up or you just fall on their heads. So they put their arms up. I've never seen someone get dropped.
And then they pass you around, they put you down, they pass you back to the stage. Like how
That happens too. Some people get passed back, and then you have to stage dive again. I've seen people have to do it like 4 times before they can actually get off.
It's because are they just passing back to the back of the room eventually?
Otherwise, yeah, it's the back of the room, or it's you just kind of like they'll guide you down. People are nice though.
Yeah.
People are nice about it.
Gosh, that has kind of changed my excitement about this. I'm like,
You're gonna stage dive.
I'm
dude.
definitely gonna stage dive
Wow.
in some Doc Martens. Just fucking
We gotta get you
kick
Docs.
somebody right in the
We gotta get you
forehead.
Doc Martens.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I'm hyped now. Yeah.
This is way better than what's going to happen to me. We just said that for the next, we talked about it on our Patreon show last week. And if you want to, go to patreon.com/blackandwhiteadvice. Put in money to get us to 250, but also you get our bonus show every week.
Yeah.
Right? When these mics turn off here, all of our Patreon listeners stick around and they get to listen to an extra 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, of us hanging out, coming up with ideas. And we were talking over there last episode about how what I'm going to do
At 500,
500 is going to be the next one we get to.
Turner
And
is going to be a rapper.
I'm going to be a rapper. Well, it's better. The first idea you came up with was having me get jumped into a street
I
gang,
wanted you to get jumped in by the Bloods.
which apparently is possible.
It is, but then you'll be an active member, and you might have to put in some,
I think getting punched in the face.
you might have to put in some work after you get your flag.
Yeah, so we're not doing that.
All right, so a little safer. We're going to go to the studio, record a song, and then we're going to shoot a music video for that song.
And we're going to put it out on Patreon.
And it's going to be on Patreon.
A rap song.
Yeah.
They call me Sweetness and I like to dance.
Stop it.
Super Bowl Shuffle.
You know what?
Here I
I'm
come.
about to just turn into Drake. I'm going to ghostwrite for you. I'm going to ghostwrite some shit.
Oh, that would be great.
Because I'm like, because if you come out with a do, I'm like, that ain't it.
Remember in what's the NWA movie?
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton, when Eazy-E's trying to rap.
Yeah,
And he keeps messing up, and it takes him like all day to get one verse out.
And if it was that hard for him, imagine what it's going to be like
that's
for
what
you.
it's going to be for me.
My name is Turner, and I'm here to spark.
All right, we'll be right back with your black and white advice questions and answers.
Hey, you want to get bonus content, early episodes, and have your questions answered on the show?
Well, then subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/blackandwhiteadvice and subscribe right now.
Do it, and we'll give you a shout out on a future episode.
And I might call you the N-word.
All right, we're back with your black and white advice questions and answers. The first question comes from James in Memphis. James says, first time, long time. You gotta love that when people start doing that, right?
First time, long time.
You ever hear that on like sports radio? They go first time listener, long time caller.
Yeah, yeah.
No, first time caller, long time listener.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they just start
But he's
saying
saying first time,
long time.
I mean, first
It
time.
means the same thing. It's
Got
just without saying the first time caller, long time listener.
First time, long time. Yeah.
First time writer, long time listener. James in Memphis says, it just hit me that when I think of yoga, I think almost exclusively of white women and not at all of India,
Where it
the
was created.
place that it originated.
Correct.
He says, is this white people's most successful cultural appropriation? And he says, a two-part question. What have black people appropriated from white people?
Well, you had
at
me.
that.
You had me there in the first half. Thought you were a fairly
Well, let's
educated
tackle
person.
the first half
Yeah.
first. This is a great question. I love this question. So is that white people's most successful cultural appropriation? Yoga? I think it is, because I honestly also don't think of India when I think of yoga.
At all,
Do you?
ever. Right. Meanwhile, they're doing Bikram, which is so Indian. It's 120 degrees in that room, and it's all rich white moms. So you're right. No, you don't even think about India anymore. And that's true. Yeah, they completely took that.
100% took it over.
They took that.
I can't.
But it got big in L.A., in Beverly Hills. Like the Indian guy who started. You saw that documentary?
Didn't he end up like...
The Bikram guy.
He got
actually.
Me Too'd?
Yeah, he got me. But he was huge in L.A., and he was like working in Beverly Hills with her, and that's why you saw such an influx there, and then it spread to the smaller parts of the world. But it started in L.A., West Coast, because he took it there from India.
There was a yoga class, when I was in China still, 10 years ago. Yoga was just getting there, and the gym I went to offered yoga classes at like 8 a.m., and they moved over Indian guys. They literally paid guys from India to come over. They gave them an apartment, and they're like, all you have to do is 3 days a week, you got to teach yoga to these like Chinese women, right? And these guys, I got to know them because we all hung out at the same bar. They knew nothing
Think
of
about
yoga.
They were
Nothing.
just from India.
They were literally just from India, and they'd be like, "This is the best life."
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't have to do. All I have to do is 3." And we'd drink till like 3 a.m. and they'd have to be up at 8 teaching yoga, and they'd be like, "Oh, I smell like booze. Like no one cares. As long as I'm Indian."
Just go stretch. That's all he was doing. He didn't even know the fucking downward dog. He's like, just stretch your quads.
yeah, they're just like, go after it for a little while.
Yeah.
But those days are gone, man. It's all white people
Oh,
now.
and they're certified and they're deep into it.
Yeah.
Now they go to Bali for like yoga excursions or yoga,
there's
yoga retreats and
vacations. You pay like $3,000 to go do
Yes.
yoga just in another
stuff. Stay on the beach
place.
and then
Yeah.
drink wine the rest of the day.
and you hang out with all the yoga people.
Let's be honest, there's some just real smoke shows out there. Because let me say, that's a
course.
rich leisure activity. Poor people don't have time to go to Bali to do yoga. So you are wealthy and you normally are fine, and you just you're.
I will say this though, usually a little boring. The type of people who just spend most of their time doing yoga. I mean, you're right, incredibly attractive. I don't know if I want to spend vacation time with them outside of the attractiveness, just in terms of the conversation.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're there. They know what they're doing. They're there to get fucked up. It's like a girls' trip. So to us, it
okay.
would be boring, but for them, it's like the time of their life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't go, but
That's my point.
Yeah,
I don't think I would want to hang out with yoga people.
But I'd
for
go on
couple
like
weeks.
like if they had like a 3-on-3 basketball retreat. Me and the homies is
I
going.
might do that.
Yeah, we
Hoop
going.
it up?
Yeah, we hooping for the week in Bali. Come on.
You remember Hoop It Up? Did you guys have Hoop It Up?
What's that?
The Hoop It Up, the 3-on-3 tournament for kids. It was sponsored by, it wasn't ESPN, maybe Inside Stuff Magazine or something. And it was the Hoop It Up tournament. It would come to Sacramento every year. And then if you won your city, you could get to go play against other
Are you
cities.
sure that won the And One mixtape tour?
Before that.
Oh.
It was, maybe you were too young for it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, 3-on-3. Yes, I think yoga is our number one cultural appropriation, successful. Number 2, I would put rock and roll music.
Because y'all know who y'all took that from.
But it's not number 1 because because we took it from black people. But you could still think of like Jimi Hendrix is still a lot of people would think of him. So he's black, right?
Yeah.
Yoga, I don't think of a single Indian. I can't name. I guess Bikram, right?
Bikram would be the only
Outside
one
of him,
don't know any.
no.
No.
It's all in shape white ladies.
Exactly. And what have black people appropriated is what he wanted to know. The next part of this question.
Yeah, and the one last thing is yoga pants.
Oh,
Specifically.
game changer. Do you want to talk about changing the lives of many?
We live in a special time, guys.
We do. I'm telling you, these women would have been stoned to death 50 years ago, and now honestly, God. And the thing is, it's like what's it called, Fabletics or where they're wearing workout clothes as regular outfits.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate it. I've never hated it.
Do you remember the first time you saw? I know where I was.
I thought she was a porn star.
I did. I was like, that woman doesn't have a dress on.
Yeah.
Skirt. Because there was an era when women would wear yoga pants, but underneath a skirt.
Yeah.
And then one day the skirt just disappeared.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's just, you watch your leggings.
Yeah, leggings and just
But on an airplane.
yeah.
Like just in public.
I
And
mean,
you're like, well, that's a wild move.
and some of them they're just like, wow.
Well, and then we just went for Christmas. We just went to the Cayman Islands. We're flying down there. And Ye was like, I'm the only person on this flight without. It was all the entirety of Long Island dumped onto our airplane. I felt so bad for the Caymans because it was just Long Island dumping into screaming at each other, dumping into the Cayman Islands. But all the women were wearing yoga. She was the only person without yoga pants on the whole thing.
Just class.
Good job, India.
Yeah, good job.
I don't know if they did the yoga
I
pants.
don't know if they had anything to do with the pants.
They're probably making them. They're probably.
I was going to go with China, but maybe in India as well.
It could be. All right. So then, what if black people appropriate from white
Well,
people?
hold on. Before we get that,
Oh yeah.
do you know where came from?
I've heard it was a
Japanese.
cult.
Japanese. It was an Asian guy. Was it Asian? You're going to have to fact check this because it's a little rusty. I want to say he was Japanese or he was Chinese. I can't remember. But he did Lululemon. He named it that because Asians have trouble with L. And so he named it Lululemon because he didn't want Asians wearing it originally.
No.
Yeah, I want to say maybe he was a Chinese guy from Canada, maybe somewhere. Yeah,
It was like Fubu.
Vancouver or something. What?
Well, I'm gonna look it up for
It
the
was,
guy.
Yeah, look it up.
Wait, it was Fubu, but opposite.
Yeah, but yeah,
For
he did,
you,
but
for
he
me,
did,
but
he never had any intention of it being worn by Asians.
No
and so,
way.
So he made it Lululemon because he said they had trouble with the pronunciation.
and he was Asian.
Yeah, something like that. And I was like, Ruru Rim. Yeah, that'll do it.
What a son of a
But
bitch.
yeah, but I'm just telling you, and we're gonna have to look it up. But I know because I've looked it up before, and I was like, oh wow. This
What a
is nuts.
racist
It was
son of a
racist. It was
bitch.
racist as shit when he came up with it.
He
Yeah.
didn't want his
He
own
wanted-
people
but-
wearing it. Well, I
yeah.
got news for him. That must have been a long time ago because the Asians are like have status now.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
when I say that, I think it came out maybe early 90s. or
Before
maybe
Crazy
2000.
Rich Asians. the movie.
Yeah, I think it was like 90s, but it was,
Yeah.
and we'll fact checked it, but I've read it before, and I was just like, this is pretty crazy.
A buddy of mine's a Chinese American guy, and his wife is white. And they came to see my show the other day, and I talk a lot about Chinese wife, white guy, you know. So we're hanging out after at the bar, and he was like, "Oh, they were both like, we got to tell you the stereotypes that are the opposite when it's like an Asian man and a white woman." I'm like, "Yeah, hit me." He goes, "Every time we go into like a designer store, they just assume I'm rich." Because why else would she be with me if I wasn't rich?
Right.
So he's like anyone who's helping any other customer, they all drop the other customer and they just come over to me and they go, "Oh, what can we do for you? You want some water? Do you want what do you need? Come
That's
in."
amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
I always have to buzz like twice when I go in the designer store because they normally don't let me in the first time. I'm like, no, I'm fine.
You got a white girl too.
Yeah. I normally let her lead so they don't feel so threatened. So, but it's different, you know. It's definitely stereo, especially those designer stores or like jewelry stores. Sometimes like where they sell diamonds.
Yeah.
I'll have to buzz a couple. I have to say, and they'll look me up. I'm like,
Some of them don't they? You have to have an appointment or something.
some of them do. Yeah, it's always a weird thing. But what black people have stolen? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I got one.
Good credit.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I got one though.
What?
It's gonna infuriate you.
Please.
Basketball. Dr. James Naismith in a peach basket invented the sport of basketball. And for the longest time, it was just us.
Oh, I know.
It was accountants
I know.
and lawyers.
He created it at the University of Kansas in his PE class.
It was a bunch of jump stops,
yeah.
set shots. It
That's
looked
all
like
there
women's
was.
basketball
It was.
pre-Caitlin Clark.
And what they don't tell you is we didn't take shit from y'all. The NBA was actually about to go under until they started letting Negroes in because nobody went watching that shit.
Is that true? What about the ABA? ABA, I felt like was the more, because that was more like the Philadelphia 76ers, Dr. J.
Which is when the merge
That had
came
more of the
because
funk
it
to
helped
it,
save
right?
the NBA because that's what the merge did. It helped save.
Who
it.
was Chocolate Thunder? Daryl Dawkins?
I'm not sure. Chocolate.
You know what I mean?
I've heard
that was
Daryl
his
Dawkins,
nickname.
but I don't know if that was his nickname.
And Dr. Dunk. No, Dr. Dunk might have been Daryl Dawkins.
I don't follow the ABA All Stars.
You're not an ABA guy?
No, that was a little before me.
I
too.
think Clyde Frazier might have been ABA.
They all were.
Walt Frazier, Walt Frazier,
Dr.
Walt Frazier.
J was in the ABA.
Yeah, Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, a
Jelly
lot of
Bean
them.
Bryant, Kobe's dad.
Kobe's dad
ABA.
before he went overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's. But you know, I don't take away from the greats because I'm an avid basketball fan. So even when you watch like old school, like there were white players who were like Jerry West. He was nasty for that time. Like,
Yeah.
But forget all that. Pistol Pete is still one of the coldest
Oh
point
my
guards to
God.
ever do it.
Yeah.
And he was playing against black people, so we ain't even gonna do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you're right. We did take it and revamp it. Saved y'all.
Revamped
We
it.
revamped it for you. You know what I mean? Add a little
Basketball
spice.
2.0.
Yeah, a little razzle dazzle.
That's the number one thing I could think of. I
Yeah,
couldn't
that's
think of
actually really
anything
good.
else.
And yeah, it is infuriating but it's the truth. We did take that.
All right, should we go next question?
Yeah.
We got Spencer in Eugene, Oregon. He says, during the early 2020s piety renaissance in America, there was a 6-month period where every church, parent-teacher conference for my kids, and Little League baseball game I attended did a, in quotes, land acknowledgement. Then, around 2022, it all went away.
I just like to go on the record. I don't know what the fuck he's asking.
Okay. My question, let me finish the question and I'll explain. He goes, my question is, did land acknowledgements ever happen in black communities or was that exclusively a white thing? Okay. Land acknowledgements. Joe, do you know what this is? Land
I think like before like a sports game, someone goes, just so y'all know,
Yes.
there used to be the Haktua tribe we used to be here, and now we built this stadium.
The Hawk to a tribe.
Yeah, we're all on the ancestral tribal land of the Haktua community, the natives, and we need to do a prayer for them before we do this, strip show or whatever
you
we're
mean
doing.
white people just feeling bad for all their history of
So there
fucking
was,
up?
I remember this. There was like a 6 months, maybe a year, wherever I went, they would do the same thing. They go, welcome to My church used to do it in Brooklyn Heights. Welcome to the First Church of Brooklyn Heights, and on the ancestral land of the Arapaho natives, or I don't even remember who they were.
Y'all want to do everything but give us reparations.
And then they would, and then you had to acknowledge, yes, we're bad people. We shouldn't have done this.
Are you serious?
We don't do anything about it. No one's donating. There's no money changing hands.
Just say you're a piece of shit so we can get done with this.
And then we move on with our day.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And my buddy was telling me his parents went to Syracuse University, but they're like boomers. They're like in their 70s. And he was like, oh, dude, all hell broke loose last weekend at this. It was like the 60th anniversary of graduation or 55th or something, you know?
And they were mad they weren't the Orangemen anymore.
Oh, that was already infuriating, right? And then they're sitting there, and then there's like 150 70-year-olds, and they go, before we start, we want to say we're on the ancestral land of the blah, blah, blah tribe, and everybody's, what? Where are we? Are we in the wrong place? Where is this? What's going on? And they're trying to figure out, and people started like, there was a,
I thought this was the Carrier Dome.
Yeah, they're already confused. These are elderly people. They don't know where they are. So did this happen? Did this happen at any...
They don't make us apologize. We was the ones getting fucked up.
So no.
This is
the question.
This is the old slave quarters. No. No, they
Our
don't
slave quarters were on the ancestral lands.
Right.
We want to apologize.
Right. They're like, they never make us go that far. They don't make us do that because they're like, no, they had it pretty fucked up. I think maybe we should not bring that up. But no,
it didn't last long though, because ultimately it didn't do anything.
I don't know. Like when you say that, no, nobody ever makes you stop and just acknowledge. But like, there's certain places that are like black burial lands that people believe are home, like in Georgia, Lake Lanier.
Yeah,
it's a known fact. Like people, I mean, they have like 4 or 5 drownings a year. One of Usher's kids died in Lake Lanier. Every time I'm in Georgia, I'll go swim in Lake Lanier. But Lake Lanier was built over an old black slave town, and then they dammed it up and flooded it and made the lake. And so they say you go down there now, there's still cars and things like that. So they're like, those are all those spirits. People genuinely believe it's spirits pulling people down in Lake Lanier.
I don't mean, this is very different. I don't mean to laugh.
I'm like, that's the only
serious topic.
That's the only thing I know. Like, this is once the land of, I'm like, the only one I know of is Lake Lanier.
I don't think we're trying to like pray away the bad spirits.
Oh, well then no, we don't acknowledge
it's more apologizing. When I say we, I mean like,
yeah, white people need to apologize because they have a lot to atone for. They normally don't make us apologize.
That's a great point.
Since we were kidnapped and brought here.
So in Australia, they still do this. That's a good point I never thought of. That's that exact reason is why this show is so good, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's honestly an answer I never... it's the most obvious answer that's right in front of your face.
Right. Do you guys ever apologize
for stealing people's land? Like we didn't steal anyone's
We were the
land.
stolen people. What are you talking about?
In Australia, it's big. They still do it. This apologizing. I went to comedy shows.
It's because they treat the Aborigines like dog shit to this day.
Yeah, but also I agree. But then they're not doing anything about it. There's no money. They're not like, so 10% of this comedy shows. Every comedy show still at the festival. They do the Melbourne Comedy Festival. They go, we want to open by apologizing to the land of the people who, toiled the fields and worked in the blah, 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 the whatever Aboriginal tribe. So a moment of silence for them. They do a moment of silence. They go, and now on with the show. And then the guy comes out and he goes, so I was jerking off on a chick.
Well,
but to honor the tribe or whatever.
Of course, I've never been to Australia, but they say it's fucking like Aboriginal treatment. They're like,
that's horrible.
No, like I asked a Australian chick one night because after the show we were talking. And we had some drinks at the bar. And I brought it up. I was like, if you brought an Aboriginal man home right now, she's like, oh, my dad would fucking kill me. She was like,
still?
Yeah. They were like, you don't do that.
Yeah.
I said, you don't do that? She's like, it's just something you wouldn't do. I said, because they're dirty to y'all, ain't they? In the outback, isn't it? Yeah. They don't like that shit. And you think the South is bad? I bet you it's fucking crazy down there.
I think it probably is.
Yeah.
There's a difference though, between the black guy from the South and like a bushman that you're bringing home.
No, they stole their land too, though.
They pushed them into the bush.
I mean, although stole the land, I will say that the white people went to Australia unwillingly. They were prisoners who got sent there.
Yeah, right.
And then when they got out of prison, they were halfway around the world. It wasn't like you get out of prison and we're getting you a charter flight back home to England.
Right.
It was like, all right, you live here now.
Right.
And there's no flights.
And also we have the 7 deadliest creatures in the world also right here on this island with you. Back then it was probably 11.
And entire tribes of Aboriginals who you're going to have to go fight for the
and they're
land.
going to skin you.
Yeah,
if
they're
they
going
catch
to
you.
fucking kill you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Somehow they made it out pretty good, didn't they?
They did all right. Patty Mills is doing okay. The NBA player.
You know, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
nice.
No, St. Mary's.
St. Mary, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
So it sounds like if you're Australian, dating an Aborigine guy is a real didgeridoo.
Oh, boy. Joe the Muscle Russell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Real teacher.
Behind the glass, 1s and 2s. All right. It's a Patreon subscriber, Fun Kilo.
Hey.
What's up, Fun Kilo? In Phoenix, Arizona, he says, racism has a lot of misconceptions. What misconception do you wish people had about you? He said, for example...
What misconceptions do I wish they had about me?
Yeah, he says, for example, I wish people thought I knew Kung Fu so they wouldn't mess with me. Because, like, people think Asians know Kung Fu. He's saying it would be... He's a white guy. He's saying it would be good for me if people thought I knew Kung Fu so they wouldn't mess with me.
I wish people thought I was packing a fucking niner.
That's the best way I've ever heard. The best phrasing of that sentence I've ever heard.
I think people do think you're packing
I
a
was going
niner,
to say,
though.
I think that's not a misconception.
They assume it, but some don't. Some like, I don't know about that one. I don't know. At least girls told me. They're like, can you fuck?
I mean, I think
girls have asked me that. They're like, Phil, can you fuck? I'm like, why was that? They were like, you just seem so goofy. I'm like, what the fuck type of shit is that?
That's the curse of being funny.
Yeah,
man.
I'm like, what is it? They're like, I just don't feel like you would take anything serious. I'm like,
I'm
well,
so
let me get up in that thing and you tell me.
I'm so sick of this women who like the strong, silent type.
Right.
The guy's boring. He has nothing to say.
Right.
There's nothing
Meanwhile,
going on up here.
right, and I am goofy and I do have a good time,
Yeah.
but trust me, the penis works. All right.
Yeah, being able to make a room full of people laugh.
Laugh you right out of that Victoria's Secret. Come fucking with me.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
But I've had that question.
you're not packing a niner.
Yeah.
Packing a tour. I'm gonna go with the same. I mean, like, I'm more on the Fun Kilo side. I wish people were even just slightly scared of me. That would be. I don't intimidate anyone. You know, I think being intimidating. I'm not saying like people cross the street when they see me. You know, I'm not. But any type of just respect, a modicum of respect,
I was just a pinch of
would
respect.
be helpful.
I think people think I'm intimidating until they talk to me. Like people when they say because I don't like. Well, I didn't realize. I guess I have like resting bitch face. Most of the time, like if I'm not like if I'm just in thought, my face is like my dad. Like my dad.
Yeah.
You always thought my dad was pissed off. He'd be perfectly fine, but he would just hold his face. And I didn't realize this till my boys were like, "What's good? What's you good?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, you look pissed the fuck off." I'm like, "Do I?"
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking. But a lot of people are like, if you don't know you and you don't know how goofy you are, like just looking at you. I said, well, I am 6'2" and black as hell, so I can see that being
Yeah.
a little. But yeah, and if I'm not talking or joking around, I normally do keep to my like if I go to a new establishment and I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of comedian. Like some people,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
most
not
people,
either.
they're like, you don't seem like a comedian. I was like, because I'm not standing on the table.
Because you're not on all the time.
Right, and I hate that. But like, especially a lot of people, they expect that from a comedian. So with me, if I don't know you, if I'm not in a comedy setting, I'm literally just chilling. Like, and
Yeah.
people are like, you just don't seem very comedy-like.
Ugh.
I'm like, cool.
I get that too.
Yeah, I'm like, that's cool. You trust me, you don't want me to seem comedy-like because those people suck.
Yeah, you want me to be tap dancing all the time?
So what's the deal with ESPN? No,
hey,
bro,
this is
just-
wacky.
Yeah.
What are the hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah.
Why is it spelled with an H?
I hate those people.
Yeah.
Just be a normal.
Yeah, and people will always tell me after a show, they go, if they've known me from some other aspect of my life, they're like, wow, I didn't know you're going to be so funny and animated. I'm like, yeah, because that's on stage.
Yeah, that's my job. So
Yeah, that's what I do for a living.
Yeah, that's what I do. No, I get that's how I am.
All right, next question. Kim in Charleston, South Carolina. She's
What up, home girl from the home state?
Charleston, yeah. Kim says, I'm black and my kids are in junior high and go to a school with a lot of white kids. To prepare for this world my kids are now in, I need to know at what age do white parents let their kids cuss in front of them? At what age?
Yeah, you gonna have to answer that.
Yeah, okay. So my I still don't cuss in front of my parents.
Which is just, I respect that so much because y'all don't get spanking. So the fact that you don't
did.
cut. Y'all did?
Yeah.
Oh, Turner.
Yeah. But my mom denies it to this day. She has no memory of it.
Really?
But I've talked to my brother about it. He's like, have you realized that mom has amnesia about the fact that she used to spank us when we were kids? I'm like, yeah, it's so weird. But she'll say, she'll be like, did you know these other people spank their kids? Oh my gosh. We're like, you did it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I did not. But I also remember when I got faster than her and I could run away from it. Because we had my brother and my bedrooms were here, and then we had a connecting bathroom. But then there was the front, right, to go out to the rest of the house. So there was a circle. So once you got to 10 or 12 and you could run faster than her around that circle, you could just run her out. You could wind her.
Wow.
And then when she wouldn't catch up.
That is white. I've never even heard of that from our side. Because, I got beat. Not spanked. We got beat.
Yeah, we didn't get beat.
Yeah, we got beat. Dog walked, if you will.
What's up, Drew?
And let me tell you something, bro. Them ass whoopings used to be so... they would beat you so good and they make you go sit in the fucking bathtub and shit. But I'm telling you, you want to talk about good sleep? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had a better. You're worn out. You're exhausted. You just took a.
Yeah, but don't you have cuts all over your body?
You have welts and stuff. And you sit in
and
that
you can
bathtub?
still sleep with that.
The way
Would
you
it hurt to move?
No, that's what I'm saying. You've cried, and first of all, you sat in that bathtub, and you hear, "Shut up!" before I come in and give you something to cry about. You're like, oh. And but my sister, see, that's the thing. I hated getting spanked. My sister was a gangster, so she would take the spankings over getting grounded because they'd give her either you want to get your ass beat or you're not going out any week. And she was like, "I'll meet you in the room."
So she could still hang out.
Yeah, she's like, "What, Mike?" She said, "Phil, it lasts for 3-5 minutes." She said, "Then you're done." I said, Keegan,
but it
they
hurts.
beat the shit out of me today.
Oh.
Yeah, then she was like, well, you're a pussy. But I remember, bro.
Was she older?
Younger. My sister was a thug. I remember one time I tried to be noble, and I was like, I'm gonna be the good big brother. I was like, I'm gonna take her ass whooping for us. Man, my daddy beat the shit out of me. I looked at her. I said, don't ever fucking talk to me again.
Wait, your parents went through with it?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, you can.
They were like, that was a solid move on your part. They were like, all right, hands on the bed. I was like, what? Hands on the bed.
You're like, this is an empty gesture.
Right, it was. It really was. And they were like, all right. He's like saying, as long as I get my pound of flesh.
Oh my God.
Yo, I'm telling you, this shit used to be so crazy. But I tell you, when you say you get quick enough at a certain age where you can run.
Yeah.
But we all hit that puberty.
But my dad wasn't a college basketball coach.
Right. But the thing is, God rest my father. So we used to prefer my dad to whoop my ass over my mom. And given my dad was organized with the ass whoopings.
Okay.
He would tell me beforehand, he was like, all right, what's the offense? My mom would tell him, he was like, all right, you getting 6 lashes or 6 licks.
It's like Singapore.
Yeah, 6 licks. He was like, hold on. He said, hold on to the bed, look at the wall, don't look at me. He said, every time you look back at me, I'm at another lick. So I'd be like, all right. So I would just muster up and just, I was like Denzel in Glory, that one scene with the one teardrop. But I remember that, and I was just like, just be a motherfucking gangster, bro. Don't be no bitch. And I was like, because if you don't add more, so I would just do it. My mom was ridiculous. So she would just hit, and then she'd bring out a Bible verse. Psalms, and she called Psalms. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get beat for 15 fucking minutes. That's the longest verse.
And she wouldn't, because
every word was a hit.
Do you know what the difference was? Is that she was the one, your dad was just administering it.
Yeah,
but he wasn't there when it happened.
Yeah, so he was like, what happened?
There was no emotional attachment.
I want peace, so I'm going to do it. My mom had been dealing with it all day. But I remember one time, and I know this is going on way too long, but I have to.
No, go ahead.
One time, bro, you hit that age where you start feeling yourself. You got a little hair under your arms. You put on deodorant now. I'm a fucking man.
What I'm talking about.
I'm a fucking man.
Yeah.
The difference is in the black community, and this is not just my mom. This is because I've talked to plenty of black people. I was like, you ever been getting an ass whooping and then you catch the belt? Because she'd be in it and you catch it and you look. And my boy was like, worst mistake. I said, it's the worst mistake you can make. Because now she goes 10 times harder. And not only that, after she beats your ass, she calls everybody. Your son tried to hit me today. And you're like, what?
She calls your dad?
She calls whoever. My grandma, your son bowed up, thought he was grown, tried to hit me. And you're like, hit you? Gosh. I caught the belt. I figured that got to be like a bonus point or something.
Yeah.
The agility of this. Yeah, just caught it. Hand burning. Like, ah. Yeah,
oh my God.
No. Yeah.
And what is your, if you're getting beat, or say your sister's getting beat and you're in the other room, but you're not in trouble,
I'm in there laughing.
How does
sometimes,
that feel?
Depending how bad of the ass whooping. There's been a couple times I've gone in and got my mom. I was like, hey, you need to calm down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you need to calm down. And she was like, you want some of this?
Oh, God.
I'm like,
Like
fuck,
a prison guard.
if I have to. But I ain't going to let you beat up on my dog no more. You know what I mean?
Oh, my
But my mom,
God.
looking back, is crazy. My mom's like, I think I beat y'all too much growing up. I said, you probably did. There was a couple times.
Jeez.
Yeah. But nah, dog. It makes a man out of you.
All right, should we get back to the question?
Trauma bonded. Yeah, let's get back to it.
The question was, what age do parents let their kids cuss in front of them? So like I said, I've never cussed in front of my parents. For white people, I've never cussed in front of my parents. But I remember, I want to say starting when I was like 10, you would go over to other kids' houses, and depending upon how liberal their parents was, I think I've sort of talked about this before, how liberal their parents was, the earlier they would start. The more liberal, the more early they would just start cussing out their own parents.
Because I want you to be able to express yourself.
It was
Is
that.
what
Yeah. Get all your feelings out. Get your emotions out. And they would just start. You see a kid scream in their, like, F their parents, scream in their face, you know? And I'm like, that you just couldn't do that in my
Now,
house.
think about the ass whoopings I just told y'all about. When I used to go to those white kids' house and hear that, my ass cheeks would start sweating. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're going to kill him. They're going to murder you. And then they were like, oh, Timmy, would you like to make some peanut butter and
It's
jelly
the
sandwiches? And I'm like,
weirdest thing.
oh my God.
There wasn't a lot. I can think of like 2 or 3
There was like
specific
2 families. Yeah.
And guess what? Surprise, surprise. Those kids didn't turn out well.
Yeah. Rest in peace to my boy. One of them's dead. But
Oh,
for
jeez.
sure, though. Rich kid.
Really?
Really rich kid. Yeah, I used to do that. He overdosed.
Phil, did
gonna say drugs.
your mom or dad ever hit anybody else's kids, like in your family, like cousins and stuff?
All the cousins, any cousin,
All the cousins?
No, anybody. But that was a rule, and that was for me too. If you come to this house, you live by these rules. Same with if I went, but like so if they came to our house and they messed up while I was like with us and we were playing around, everybody getting.
My mom spanked a cousin or two.
Yeah, and then we'd go over there, and my aunt beat the shit out of me for.
Yeah.
I remember one time we were playing around because my grandma's house in the country, they had like this heater, this portable, not like an old school heater though, that had like real flame, got real hot.
Yeah.
And they used to sit this pot on top of it and put potpourri in it with water so it would heat up and make the house smell good.
Yeah.
Now I remember one day me and my little cousin, we're 6 years apart, so I'm like. I'm 12. He's 6. So I'm damn near too old to be playing. But we start playing tag in the house, fucking around because we were bored. And my grandma was like, don't run around that hot pot no more. It'll ruin you. You'll be burned for your life and mutilated. And so we were like, all right. And then we kept playing. And she was like, I'm not going to tell you again. So she raised her voice and she pointed the fly swatter at us because that's what she said, run again in this house and I'm whooping everybody in here. And so, okay. So we didn't run, but then we did one of those quick tags like that. Like this. And she saw it. Not only did she get us lined up, she called my sister and my other cousin, the girls, like the girl cousins. She lined all of us up. She said, "Now turn around, everybody," and just went down the line whooping ass.
She beat the girls who had nothing to
Beat
do
the
with
whole,
it?
yeah. Beat the whole house. Beat the whole house.
And the 6-year-old boy?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I think you could go to jail for that these days, right?
These days, probably. You can go to jail for pretty much any type of discipline these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then, no. It was.
I love how your girl cousins are just like playing whatever video games, and all of a sudden
everybody in here line up.
All of a sudden they get beat.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't even know what's going
But it
on.
was my grandma, so it wasn't like my mom. Like, because my grandma was sweet, but it's still my grandma had never hit me before, so it really like made me like hurt my feelings.
Emotionally.
I was like, wow, you really gonna beat me for real? And it was a little light one, but nah, that's crazy. Let me ask you something, Turner.
Yeah.
What age did you start cussing? Not at your parents. What age did you start? You don't really cuss now though.
I don't a lot. I kind of grew out of it though.
But
I
as a
think
younger-
junior high,
Really?
7th grade is at least in California when you switch schools.
Yeah.
And you have 7th and 8th grade is its own school.
Junior high, I've heard of that.
Yeah, junior high, and then obviously you have elementary school through 6, and then you have high school like 9 through 12, right? The middle, that 7th, 8th grade, junior high, no one cares about you. The teachers don't care about you. The state doesn't care about you. It's like they're just killing time till you get to high school, and that's when you actually have to study for college and everything, you know? So my parents, I remember being pissed at the school because like the cops were at the school every day. This is like a white neighborhood in suburban Sacramento, and kids were getting arrested for drugs every day. Every day.
Really?
And because everybody had an older brother who had something, who could get him something. It was the biggest school of screw-ups you could ever find. And everybody cussed. And at the elementary school in my little neighborhood, like, nobody did.
Right.
But then you went to junior high, and they had these kids come from, like, up the hill. So we lived on the base of this mountain, the Sierra Nevada mountains.
Yeah.
But every mile you went up, it just got more and more like white trash, basically.
Really?
Yeah. And they would bring them in from 20 miles away.
Smell like Mountain Dew and cigs.
Oh, Mountain Dew, cigs, and meth. These 7th graders. And they would smoke cigarettes, I remember, outside of school. It's the first time I'd ever seen anyone do that.
Right.
And like, they were 12-year-olds,
Yeah,
you know? And then they would come in like cussing and everything. So if you wanted to be cool, you had to like, we thought they were cool. Like, we were trying to fit in with the trashy kids.
Right. That's
Well,
of
they
course.
should have been fitting in with us,
Yeah.
but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I really let loose for a couple years there.
I remember
What about you?
by the time I started cussing around probably like 4th grade, I think, 3rd or 4th. But I started cussing good around 6th grade.
Really? You got good at it? I was bad at it in
was good
7th
at it.
grade. I don't even know what I was saying.
Yeah.
I was saying stuff that probably didn't even make sense.
I remember I had a buddy who was bad at cussing. He just like doing. He was like, "Fucking shit, cunt, bitch."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What?"
But when you're bad at it, you think you're pretty
You
good
think?
at it.
I mean, you flowing with it because you're
Yeah.
dropping everything. I'm like, that doesn't work, though. You know what I mean? But no, I remember the cussing. Yeah, I got good at cussing right around 5th, 6th grade.
If my advice to kids would be get good 5th, 6th grade so that when you hit 7th, you're running.
I mean, you cutting people's ass with that tongue.
yeah, you're cussing at the teacher.
All right, don't listen to Turner,
You're
man.
getting
You gonna get you put out.
No, there's something to be said for getting detention on purpose early in junior high. So everybody
I don't
knows.
want us to encourage people to get detention. You're gonna get somebody left behind.
I'm just trying to help kids out how to be cool. You want to be popular.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all the time, but you get it once or twice just to let them know.
Yeah.
It's like first day in prison. What do you say? You have to beat somebody up?
to beat the biggest guy's ass or punch him right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Senior year of high school, I had detention every single day.
Every day.
Well, it was 1 day a week. Detention was on every Friday.
Oh. They didn't offer it
No,
7 days
just-
a week?
just
Or 5 days a week?
Just Friday, and they kept you till 6.
And you had it every Friday?
Every Friday my senior year. to the point where I didn't have to look. I was on the schedule. Because I went to a private school where it was uniform, and I refused to tuck my shirt in. I was like, I'm not doing it.
And did they, because at my.
So every time I'd walk in, like, Duckett, detention. I was like,
And did it compound? Like they would say, they go, Duckett, you got detention. You go like, I don't want, that's it. You got 2. All right, one more word, you got 3.
This
and
isn't
then all of a
Ferris
sudden-
Bueller's Day Off.
My
and
another
another
school,
one.
They would do that at my high school.
Oh.
I went to a Catholic school.
Oh, okay.
And they would
Got you.
also, I knew guys who had detention. It would be like February 1st, and school would end in middle of May. And they had we had 5-day week detention, and they had more dates than days left in school.
Yeah.
Because of that stuff. There's another one. There's another one.
Yeah,
There's another one.
Thank God I didn't get that bad. But no, it was miserable. It was a good time.
All right.
Damn it. I had so much fun with y'all today talking about my traumatic childhood. But it really, I don't even think it was traumatic. Like, white people, when I tell this, y'all's jaw drops. Anytime I tell a black person, they're like, dog, let me tell you how my mama beat me with this extension cord. I'm like, word.
All right. Well, but we are going to, we can continue it on the Patreon. We got more Patreon stuff for all of our Patreon subscribers.
All done.
If you're not subscribed and you
Small
want to hear the
thing.
end of this conversation, go to patreon.com/blackandwhiteadvice right now, and you'll get the end of this episode. Last thing we got to do before we get to that, Joe, white lies and dark truths, our fact check segment. What do we get right? What do we get wrong today?
Talk to me, Joe.
All right, folks. The first pair of yoga pants Lululemon sold in 1998 were a simple item for women to wear at the studio. In 2014, teenagers began to prefer leggings over jeans.
2014.
Yeah. Then people started wearing athletic clothing to run errands, and now people are just wearing them in the office.
Yes.
But what about the owner? Did we find out about the Lulu?
Oh, let me find that out.
Because I didn't make that up. I
You
read
think he
that.
was a Japanese guy in
He was
Canada?
an
Asian in Canada,
Yeah,
maybe?
and the reason it was to deter Asians from buying
That's
Lululemon.
insane.
And while I look that up, I'll tell you one more fact. Despite opposition from medical and social service professionals, as of 2024, the spanking of children is legal in all 50 states.
Wow.
It's legal? America ain't lost yet, boys.
We're back, baby.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. Phil was right about Lululemon.
Told you.
Lululemon's founder, Chip Wilson, chose the name to make it sound Western to Japanese buyers and make it difficult for them to pronounce.
What an
Told you.
asshole.
Rumor.
Wait, but also, the only part is his name's Chip Wilson. So he was
He
an
might have been white dude then.
What a
Was he in the Beach Boys?
I don't know. No, I had the fact that he was an Asian man trying to deter his own, but I knew it was a racist thing behind it for sure.
Jesus, what an asshole. I do like that he was he the bass player? He was Brian Wilson's brother. He was one of the Wilson brothers in the Beach Boys. Wow, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad I've never worn Lululemon.
Yeah, right.
All right. What? Oh, yeah, so we got to it. So
That's
that's it, everybody. That's the show for all you Patreon subscribers. Stick around. Everybody else, if you're not on board, get on board. Patreon.com/blackandwhiteadvice. Stay black.
You've got a question, but you're scared to ask. Just drop the boys a